Hello, hello. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the stream. Captain Eye Test, I welcome you back to the stream as well. I don't know if he's there right now. Oh,
Yo, what up? What up?
the stream yard has missed you, bro. The stream yard has missed you.
Yeah, it's been a while, bro. It's been a while, man. I missed it as well, I guess.
So, Christopher, before I guess we do anything, congratulations to your club. Second Premier League in what, 5 years?
Yeah. Second and five.
I know, for a long time, people thought we were even gonna get the first one. This time you get to celebrate in front of the crowd and stuff. How does it feel as a Liverpool fan?
Uh, I think I want to reflect on it a little more when the season is done. But
Mhm.
I know I felt two different ways in two different moments. So before the clash against PSG, when we knew and we thought that we were like gonna win this league, I was like, oh man, it was amazing. It was amazing, right? And then after the clash against PSG, because it was like such a gut punching feeling, it was like, oh man, flip. The potential of the season is gone. But we still have the league, but it's like still like that wave of I don't know if sadness is the appropriate word for me. It could be appropriate for like normal football fans, but I'm not a normal football fan because I don't look at sports like that. But it was like a weird feeling, just like a weird feeling. But weeks later, slash 2 months later, it's good now. And overall, like I'm happy. I can reflect on it and be like, I'm happy for the individuals, man. Happy for Allison, Van Dyke, TAA, Salah. Happy for Slot as well. First year and getting it done against the odds. Like literally every single person in the media wrote him off. Many influencers were trying to give out hot takes saying you won't even finish in the top four, only to make everyone eat humble pie. So when I like put everything into like the full picture, it's satisfying for sure. Satisfying for sure.
That's fair. That's definitely fair. Like I said, I was definitely not. I was definitely not. I was definitely on that wave of people that didn't put you guys down for the championship this season. I think, like you alluded to, especially like the consistency of you guys' performances, like in that first half of the season,
Mhm.
it was immense. I think that's definitely basically been what won it for you.
Yeah.
Like obviously, I guess it's a bit weird for you now because like you've won the title so early,
Mm.
and you're not really in any other competition. So like it's like kind of like so the rest of the season kind of just feels like a filler epilogue kind of.
Literally. Like I'm not lying to you. Since the PSG game, I haven't watched like a full 90 of a single Liverpool match because it just
Yeah.
feels like we're just filling up the time just for the show to end. You know?
No, I get you, bro. It's like in Naruto when they had like those like 20 episodes after the war before
Uh,
like the war and stuff.
yeah, yeah.
Like,
It was
why is Sasuke fighting a fucking alligator? What the hell's going on here, bro?
yeah.
All right. So today we're gonna do another power ranking. Honestly, I need to get a bit more creative. Like what's it called? I was thinking of doing for the off season
Yeah.
if I'm feeling ambitious enough.
What?
Um, I feel like some footballing games on stream would be lit. Kind of like I saw like a video of another of like a basketball YouTuber. He was playing like I don't know if you heard of Deal or No Deal.
The game show.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
he was like doing that with like shooting guards because it's kind of like you have to just keep opening boxes and then I give you options for players to pick
yeah,
and then like if you basically have to hope that if you don't take any of the options I give you that the box you pick is like a good player.
yeah.
But I feel that'd be a quite entertaining game, with between like me, you, Nana, Shimura, whoever else. But we can worry about that another day. I don't know. I'm spitballing ideas here. I want to do more things, bro. Honestly, what we could probably do too and I get nowhere. I'm gonna wrap up this intro before we get to the thing. We need more tier lists, bro. I know we're doing one now, obviously for the power rankings, but we can go through some transfers, tier lists, some player seasons, obviously all that good stuff.
I agree. Tier lists are always fun.
All right. That's enough yapping about not why we're here. So why we are here, power rankings. Christopher, you know I'm a big sucker for power rankings, bro. We got to know because it's not just one thing to know who's been the best this season. We got to know who's the best of the best right now. All right, because we don't care about what happened 9 months ago. We care about what's going on right now, May 2025, bro. We done with the 90s type shit. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm going to remind you. This is the tier list that I made the last time I did this. A stream like this. So this is where we're at. And I believe this was about mid-March, so March 14th.
Wow, it lets it goes into one. Okay.
Well, keep in mind, this is like I said, this is March 14th, bro. So
yeah. Wow, Arsenal.
So I think March 14th was prior to the second leg or just after the second leg. One of the two. For the Champions League, and obviously, yeah, this is kind of where we were at. So I have the tier list maker ready. And we are going to be starting with AC Milan. Obviously, this is a club that we've been making fun of this season. And another thing I found too, for some more context, is I found this new stats website that I like to use specifically for something like this, where they have the form table for their last 8 matches. So it's a little bit more than just like the standard 5 that you see.
Yeah.
Like 8 is like a good enough sample size where it's like, it's about the form that you're in, but it's not like fluky. Like it would control for just like what's it called, like easy scheduling type of like wins. So according to the form table, 13 points from 8 matches. We know that they just smoked Inter to make the final of the Coppa Italia last week. And I believe that their coach that they just got is leaving at the end of the season. So
he's leaving. Wow.
At least I think that's what I remember.
He just came in.
Hey man, bro. This is Chris. This is what they said, bro. This is what they said.
Do me a favor, please. Get out of here. Get out of here, man. Shit, I'm saying.
So, also, yeah, that's another thing I've been playing around with. I found a way to like download like video clips on here, bro. So if you or Nana, whoever be saying some shit, bro, I have the clip ready, bro. Just know.
Fair.
But yeah, so I don't know. Like I think last time we were talking about Milan, we were talking about you brought up how disappointing they've been. In terms of those last results that I was talking about, so I think probably their most impressive one is they beat Udinese away 4-0. They had drew with Inter earlier in the first leg of the Coppa Italia. They drew with Fiorentina, who are pretty good themselves. They lost away to Napoli, and obviously, like I said, they destroyed Inter the second leg. So, what do you make of them as of right now?
I don't think my opinion's changed right now versus what I believe I thought like a month ago, 2 months ago, and like October, November. Like as far as I'm concerned, these guys they're as mid as it gets. Like I think they've played Inter 4 or 5 times this season, and they just haven't lost in any one of them. 5 times actually, and they've beaten them like 2 or 3 times and drew the other. So I don't look at that result as indicative of their quality more so than that's just like a heated, real rivalry game, and like it's not really they aren't really like home and away, like because in the same city and stuff, but. Just in terms of the quality that they have and just how mid they look to me like, they're as mid as it gets. Personally, they're as mid as it gets, and wherever they are on the table, where are they on the table right now? Like, I know the form thing has them at 7th in the last
Well,
8, but in the table overall, where are they?
well, in the table overall, they are 9th.
Ugh, goodness. You see, like
But,
even mid might even be a compliment because I understand
but to be
power
fair,
ranking.
though, I think they're what 8 points away from 4th. I think another thing that I also like about this particular website is we can also see the strength of the schedule that they've played overall. Like when I'm just looking at like their strength of schedule, like so this is like the remaining opponents they have and the kind of like how difficult they've been. So generally, if the number is higher, then it indicates that they have like a higher difficult schedule left.
Yeah.
And even when I look in terms of like the difficulty of the schedule they've played so far, they're actually like second highest. Just to give them a bit of leeway, but obviously, like yeah, to your point, the 9th is still kind of crazy though.
Wait, hold on. No. Because let me actually look. Because you said second highest, and I'm actually trying to pay attention. I'm seeing Hellas Verona. That's number 1 there. And I'm seeing Parma, Lecce. That's already automatically above Milan, and then Napoli. That's above Milan,
Okay,
and
sorry.
then Atalanta.
Like a third highest out of the teams that are like actually in this, because like they're 11 points ahead of Torino. So I'm more so focusing on like this top 9, because this is who they need to catch. Because there's 12 points left for everybody. So max points they could finish with is 66. So they're probably not going to catch Atalanta. They have
But you think they're gonna catch them? You think they'll catch them?
No, who?
AC Milan. You think they'll catch Atalanta?
No. I said they're not. They're not going to catch.
Oh.
They only have 4 matches left. So the max you can get is 66.
Yeah.
So I was more so saying like looking at the strength of schedule. So because like I said, this is the opponents played points per game. So like how many
so far this season.
Yes, yeah. So how well the opponents that they've played have gotten points this season on average. So like they have the 3rd highest out of these 9 teams is what I was getting at. So not second. Yeah. So that's my fault on that. I mean it's somewhat marginal, right, between them, Atalanta, and Napoli, which also Napoli, but that's actually looking impressive by Napoli, but we'll get to them later. But when I just but I think to your point, like when I just look at Milan, like they're just kind of like middle of the road. Like you look at kind of like who's been performing for them, like their top goal scorers are Christian Pulisic and Tijani Rangers. So it's like just like a lot of
Pulisic has 10 goals. Okay, 10 goals. Rangers also has 10. Okay. Yeah, it's pretty mid. It's just pretty mid. Like, and I don't know what mid means in this tier list, but I'm very comfortable putting them at like the very, very bottom, because I don't think there's like relegation threatened teams in this.
No. I'm more so looking at their form since I made the last one, and I feel like because I have like way more tiers this time. I have like 7. So I feel like I don't know. I feel like
what's the standard for F? What would the standard for F be?
You got to be like, you got to basically, bro. Like you basically just didn't do anything. Like you basically just like lost every game, like or because also like you've basically just like lost every game or something like ridiculous. I don't know. So I don't really think this should be an F. I hope,
except for unless you want to include United, but that's minus Europa. Like with Europa, it's like okay.
Yeah, like with Europa, it's probably like an E but we'll talk about we'll talk about how they get those Europa performances too. Wink, wink. But I think for now, I'm comfortable putting Milan at a D, just until we get like a better feel for what all the other teams are at as well.
Yeah. Okay.
So next up we have Atletico, and man, how the tides fucking change, bro.
Yeah, these guys don't make sense, man. Like they just don't make sense.
prior to
bro.
that, prior to that last international break, they were looking really good. So in terms of last 8, Atletico also 13 points out of 8. So again, not the best. Obviously, we know what's gone on with them losing to Barca in La Liga, losing to Barca in the Copa del Rey, crashing out of the Champions League due to the penalties, drawing some games that they shouldn't have drawn. Yeah, it's really just gone. It's gone to crap for them. Bro. I'm gonna be honest. There's no real other way to put it.
Yeah, like the team just doesn't make sense to me, man. Like this is at least the third time in like the last 4 or 5 seasons I've seen where they're in the neck of it, like they're in the title race until like March, and then they just start capitulating. And it's not because of injuries. It's like it's just I don't know if it's a mentality thing. It's probably a quality thing, but they just start capitulating, and they haven't recovered since they started capitulating.
So yeah,
Like they're just literally awful.
So like since the 14th of March, so this is the first game they've played since that last live stream that I did. This is the game that they choked a 2-goal lead to Barca and conceded 4 goals in 20 minutes. I believe in this game, I think Espanyol equalized like in the last minute or something. Like I think it was very late into the game. Okay, not last minute, but 71st minute. So 2 games they've showed an inability to hold on to their leads, right? Then they beat a middling Sevilla, so fair enough on that. Beat Real Valladolid, and then they lose to Las Palmas. So you kind of just look at the scale of their results. They drew with a team that they need to be beating. Obviously, they choked that lead, like I said, to Barca, lost to them in the Copa del Rey, and then lost to Las Palmas as well. So it's like, man, like where we were before that power ranking and where we are right now, they've completely like screwed themselves over from the title race. They got knocked out of both cup competitions, so it's like they're not really doing anything anymore. Like you look at them at the table now, firmly 10 points behind Barca, 6 points behind Madrid. They're as close to Real Madrid as they are away from Athletic Bilbao. So it's like, where did the season really go? You know what I mean?
Yeah, honestly, man, like it's just so disappointing. Like the last month, 2 months, been super disappointing, man. And they're in a worse version of what I was kind of explaining with Liverpool. That limbo state of like the results at this point don't really matter like that. For them, it's kind of worse. Where the results kind of still do matter because they could still not finish fourth, right? I mean third, right? Yeah, like they're only 6 points
because, I mean, yeah, but like the thing is like they have the La Liga has the 5th UCL spot this year. They're definitely gonna do that because they're 11 points ahead of Villarreal. So like their season's basically over.
But even though, like, I think there's still an incentive to finish third because the higher you finish, the more money you make. But they could still finish fourth with how kind of dire they've been like the last 2 months.
I mean, I guess, and I think what's even more disappointing too is like you look at that strength of schedule they've had as well. Like they've not exactly had a harder run than any of the other clubs around them except for Barca. So it's like who's the club with 10 points? They're 10 points behind anyway. So it's like there's no real reason for you to be as far back as you are, especially given how you started the season. You know what I mean? I think it's another thing too where it's like I think you saw that graphic I sent in the group chat a couple days ago where about Griezmann only scoring like once in 16 matches or something. Like a lot of their goals have just dried up. Like you look at the likes of like Julian Alvarez is coming to form in the second half of the season, but unfortunately that's coincided with like I said, Griezmann goals drying up. I forgot the name of the other guy, the big striker, Sorloth. Yeah, like he's been inconsistent. You look at their wing play, like they don't really have, they don't really have any goal scoring wingers like that. at least not to my knowledge. So it's like yeah, like look at this. Like outside of these three, nobody else has scored over 3 goals.
Goodness gracious. That's horrible, man. That's horrible.
So, you're trying to keep it with Barcelona and Real freaking Madrid, and you have your fourth highest goal scorer at 3 goals heading into Mayo.
That's horrible.
Yeah, it's you're not gonna get anywhere by doing that. Like even if we were to look at GA specifically, only 3 players with double digits in GA. Like and I will give them credit. Like they do have a bunch of players on like north of 5, but like still you need that consistent. You need more consistent production from your other players, and unfortunately, they haven't been able to provide that.
Yeah, that's diabolical, man. That is diabolical.
I mean,
Yeah, nah, for me, I feel like C, D is fair, right? This is based off of form.
yeah, because this is specifically based off of the last time I did it, so not like throughout the year.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think C is fair. I think C is fair as well. Because just how disappointing they've been over the last month. I can't really. They don't. I'd even argue they might go even lower, but we'll see about that in a second. But speaking of the exact opposite of disappointing, in your second former club, I don't know what. It's still really weird to me, to be honest. FC Barcelona.
But time out. What do you mean former?
Chris, bro, I don't know. I'm asking you, bro. FC Barcelona. Form table has them at 7 wins and 1 draw in their last 8. Comfortably ahead in La Liga. They only need like what? Like because I think they play Real Madrid. Is it this weekend or the weekend after? I forget. But I know they're playing Real Madrid soon.
Yeah, and Bilbao soon.
Yeah, I know that end of the season is going to be a bit difficult, and you can kind of see that in there, in the fact that I would say like a 0.6 difference is somewhat high in terms of like the difficulty of schedule when you consider that we're like almost done with the year. But I do think that they have what's it called? They have the quality to not really worry about that anyway. But what Barcelona so far in the last month, they've won the Copa del Rey. They've made it to the semifinal. They've they've scored. How many teams have they destroyed in the meantime, bro?
A lot. And then
exactly.
also, yeah.
So they scored 4 on Atletico. They scored 4 on Girona. They scored 4 on Dortmund's head. They scored 4 against Celta Vigo. So they've scored 4 3 times since I made that last live stream. So that's 4 in a month and a half. And if we go 3 plus, there's like 3 extra games to put in there. So clearly speaking, they've been on one. That's really the only way I can describe it. They've only lost 1 game in this entire time span, and it was a game that didn't really matter because it was the second leg of the UCL anyway. The only thing that scares me a bit is I think like their high line. Obviously, like there's been the talk all year. I feel like defensively, I think the fatigue is starting to get to them a little bit. Like that performance against Dortmund was a bit worrying. Celta Vigo had no business being as much of a trouble to them as they ended up being, despite them winning. Even Real Madrid, for as bad as they were very close to beating them in the Copa del Rey as well. And then Inter, who have not been in particularly good form, managed to somehow score 3 goals in Spain as well. So it's been a bit weird because like just based off of pure form and wins, like they're probably gonna go an S, which they deserve. But like they still have like that potential for it to unravel. I don't know if I'm being a bit harsh here.
Yeah. I think it's a bit harsh because I feel like I was probably going to be harsh, but I'll be the good guy. I'll be good cop this time. I think it's a bit harsh because it's the end of the season, and I think you generally see teams like dip in form relative to how they started. But high key, Barca isn't really doing that just from a results basis. They're not really doing that. They've kind of maintained that hot streak that they came out the gates with. And it's like, if you can do that at the end of the season, people always say it's more valuable, right? So even if that means like just getting by an opponent, hey, it's a plus, you know. Like I know people have more stock for this win. It's the Premier League more than anything, but I think it's still a fair thing to give Barca that they're in, or at least at some point, they were in like a closely contested title race, and they're making deep runs in the Champions League, and they're managing all three. It looks like they're winning everything this season. So yeah, like I don't think anything else but S, and the first S makes sense and is justifiable.
Oh yeah, no. We're still definitely putting them in S, like just based purely on how well they've been even over this time span. And I think one of the things that's been very underrated has been um the I don't want to say the emergence, but like the fact that Ferran Torres has stepped up immensely.
Yeah.
What disappoints me a bit is that Ansu Fati not really being able to take part in this kind of like amazing season, because in a
It's
sense I
disappointing.
feel like what Ferran Torres is doing right now
Mm.
is what Ansu Fati should have been doing. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, I agree. Pre-injuries, but this Fati, man, he's cooked.
But still, it's just like, bro, like Flick's system is literally like a chance creation like machine. Like they literally create chances for fun. So it's like someone of like his potential and him not being able to like take advantage of that is just kind of sad to watch. Um but yeah, I think where Barca are right now, I think they're comfortably gonna not comfortably, but they're in pole position to win La Liga as long as they don't lose to Madrid, which they haven't shown the ability to not do for the entire year. So I'm not exactly worried about that. I think honestly, the key thing for them right now is that second leg of the Champions League. Because what worries me is, bro, it took damn near basically a legacy game from Yamal and an insane own goal for that third goal that Rafinha should have gotten credited for them to get away with that 3 goals they conceded. So we'll see what
And
they
we're
can
at
do in
home.
Italy. Hmm?
And we're at home as well. Like,
Yeah, exactly. And they were home as well. So it's like obviously like the Champions League is going to have a massive role in how we perceive the end of the season to go. But despite that, like I see them having a comfortable end to the season. So definitely putting them in S tier. Um Next up, we have a team that honestly I feel like have been very underrated, especially I would say like the last couple of months, and that's in Bayern Munich. I think they have been probably like under the radar, and I think part of that's just been because one, obviously, like they didn't start the season the actually I'm gonna say they didn't start the season best because they actually did start pretty well, but I just think people have underestimated Company and what he's done for them. Obviously, them going out to
sorry to cut you off. I think it's that, and I also think because of the standard that they've set in the past, we base them off of we look at them based off of their own standards, lofty standards, not the general standard. So so not the general standard. So I think that's it. So even if they start relatively well, if it doesn't look like how it used to, you rate it like that.
yeah,
So
no,
I
that's
think
fair,
that's
and that's totally a fair um, conclusion to come to as well. I do think though that another thing to keep in mind is I think just on the strength of their performances, I think they've been playing well for a while now. And like you were saying as well, I think it's just one of those things where because people are just used to a certain like standard of excellence that they tend to overlook that at times. Like you can see here through like their form table, like 17 points from their last 8 matches, which is like tied for top in the league. You look at how they performed against Inter in the Champions League with the injuries that they had. I think they played really well despite them losing. If they beat Leipzig today, then they're going to be the Bundesliga champions. And I especially think, given the full context of them losing the championship last year, people not rating Company because of his time at Burnley, I think they gave a good account of themselves in the Champions League, all things considered. I would say the season has been somewhat relatively successful.
It has, and I'm looking back very briefly. But did you know this season already at this point they have more points than they did at the end of last season and at the end of 22-23? And there's still 3 games left. There's still 3 games left, and they already have more points at this stage with 3 games than they did in the totality of last season when they finished third with 73, I think.
Oh yeah, you're
points.
You're right. I didn't even realize that.
And they won the league on the final day. That crap league, but they won it on the final day. It was 71 in 22.
So this was the table last year. Finished with 72 points.
Yeah.
And they're only 4 off from eclipsing their goal scoring from last year with like almost half as many goals conceded. And then the season prior 71. That's actually crazy. So they even technically got more points last year when they finished third than 2 seasons ago when they won the league. That's crazy. I'm actually curious. What did they do in 2022? Oh wow, you know what's funny? They're actually only 2 points off of what they did in 2022 as well. And in fact, I actually want to check something, Naku, because one of the things I like you can do on this website is compare where they were at this stage compared to other seasons. Okay, so see this. So this has been Bayern's record after 31 matches this year compared to the last 15 years. And it's really only like it's definitely so it's about middle of the pack in terms of what they've been doing, which for a team as good as Bayern have been is not the worst spot to be in, if that makes sense.
And especially like the outlook that everyone has, and I still relatively have, like I'm trying to be fair on Company, but I still have reservations about him. But the outlook, it's still unfair though. The outlook people have that this guy's clueless, not doing a good job. That time he's performing at the 5th best in like the last 14 years. Just looking at that at this stage so far, they've got 75 points, which is the 5th best in the last 15 years. That's crazy.
So I think with all of that being said, right, like if we were to look at kind of what their results have been over the last month and a half, right? So they beat St. Pauli, they beat Augsburg, they lost to Inter at home, they drew with Dortmund, they drew with Inter, and then they beat Heidenheim in Mainz. So they haven't really had a lot of like tough opponents in this run specifically. I do think, well, especially when accounting for injuries, I think that Inter tie, I think they played them really well. Like I think they were, I don't want to say unfortunate, but like they created a lot of chances that they unfortunately couldn't put away, which is obviously still on them. The Dortmund game was a bit of a frenzy. And I don't know if you remember or if you saw the highlights, but like the second goal that Dortmund scored was kind of crazy because it was basically a rebound that came off of what's his face? Guirassy trying to do like a fadeaway shot into like the goalkeeper or something. It was pretty funny to look at. But no, I think given everything that we've said, I feel like B tier is fair for them.
Yeah,
Because I would put them A, but I just think the lack of strong opponents really.
that they
Um,
beat.
yeah, that they
Yeah.
beat specifically in this month and a half. I think that is just kind of what's made me not put them any higher. But I do think, like, obviously, like they've only lost one game in this last month and a half, so like you have to still respect, what they've been doing.
Yeah.
Now we talk about Borussia Dortmund. They're I'm not gonna say rivals. They're sons.
Their little brothers, yeah, sons.
Yeah. They're sons. No, like they're literal sons. Um, so Dortmund have been crap this year. They've been pretty freaking trash for a majority of the season. But it's actually funny because they've been considerably better recently. Which I always have to stress. You have to take that into account, specifically for what we're looking for in this stream. 16 points out of the last 8 matches. So you're looking at about 2 matches per game, which is third in the league over that span, and only a point behind Bayern and Leverkusen in that span as well. I think they're currently 3 points off of finishing in the Champions League spot with three matches left to do it. And I think what's been key for them over that time is Guirassy is really starting to come into scoring in the Bundesliga because there was a point where he was scoring way more in the Champions League than he was in the Bundesliga. So I think he's been better about that as of late. They've had somewhat strong performances themselves against Bayern Munich away, and as well as obviously they beat Barcelona as well, a team that we literally put an S. And yeah, you could say that Barca, it was the second leg or whatever, but they had Barca scared there for a second. And I do think that kind of goes a long way in terms of my perception of them. In fact, kind of just looking at their schedule as of late, they've only lost 2 matches in the last month and a half to Leipzig and Barcelona, respectively. They drew once, obviously, with Bayern away, and they've won every other match. So honestly, I'm quite high on them right now. Like specifically, since we're isolating for the last six weeks.
Yeah, no, honestly,
because just like I said, if we're going off of the whole season, yeah, we are definitely gonna roast them. Like when we do like a full season power ranking, but I do think we have to give them credit for at least giving themselves the opportunity to salvage something from this season.
Not true. Like away to Bayern, you're getting a point. You're beating Barcelona in the form they're in. You're beating Borussia Mönchengladbach. And what is the result against Leipzig? Did they lose that game?
Yeah, they lost that game away.
Yeah, they lost that. But outside of that, in Barca, especially like the standards that we expect out of them, and it's so much different to what they were doing 2-3 months ago. Kind of have to give them credit. Yeah, unfortunately,
2-3 months ago, they were losing to Holstein Kiel and conceding 3 goals and a half, which is. I definitely want to give credit to Niko Kovac in particular, because I think he came in around February, and their form didn't pick up immediately. So, it kind of just shows like the work he had to do to like help develop the team in that sense. I also think shout out to Carney as well. He's been starting to get some more minutes for them as well, which has also coincided with their uptick in form. And I think at this point now, if you're Dortmund, you're gonna feel quite good about your chances of getting into the top 4. Like I said, they're only 3 points outside of 4th. I don't know. And Freiburg, I don't know what the matches are looking like for Freiburg. Right, Freiburg, they have to play Leverkusen and Frankfurt, so those are gonna be 2 tough teams. And then as for Leipzig, I think obviously Leipzig are playing Bayern this weekend, and then they're playing Stuttgart as well. So both of them have some tough games. Like both the teams above them right now have some tough games to finish out the season. And then as for Dortmund, they're playing Wolfsburg, and they have Leverkusen away, so they have specifically a tough game as well, and then Holstein Kiel. So basically, it should be a very interesting end to the Bundesliga season to see who's going to get that fourth spot.
Yeah, I think I back Dortmund. Even though I don't really like who they're playing, but Leverkusen's form hasn't been that great. But I guess we'll get to them. Or at least performances haven't been that great. Like a lot since the Bayern tie. But yeah.
So I think, given everything that we've said, honestly, I think I might have them in B as well.
Mm.
And I think
it's
and I think especially because Dortmund have been better teams than Bayern in this 6-week span. So,
yeah.
And they have a similar record. So I think that's only fair. Okay, so I don't even know why this team's here, but screw it, they're here. They beat Nottingham Forest, so I guess we'll talk about them. That's their reward because I appreciate them for doing that.
Who Everton?
Yeah. Oh, yo, Everton are a funny ass club, bro. Bro, they've only won one of their last 5 matches. Let's see what they've been doing in their last 8. Let's see if they've actually been about anything as of late. So no, they've been freaking god awful, to be honest. So see, this is an example of a D to F tier team right here, Chris. 7 points in their last 8, which is like basically relegation form. I mean, it doesn't really matter for them at this point because like they're gonna be fine. But again, they beat Forest, who everybody has been telling me is the 3rd best team in the league or 4th best team in the league. That's what I've been told, Chris. That's what I've been bullied into believing, correct? So, they were able to beat them, so that's a pretty big win right there. I think I don't really have much to say about them, to be honest. I just think they've been solid. I mean, obviously Chelsea played them a couple of weeks ago, and it took actually they played them like last week. What am I saying? And it took a brilliant Nicholas Jackson goal for Chelsea to get over the line on that. So I definitely think Everton are decent, especially for like their level.
Okay, maybe for their level, but for the nature of this tier list.
Definitely. I don't know why the hell they're in here. So I will say this: the one player I do like from them is that Alcaraz. I don't know how to say his name. I think it's Alcaraz. He looks really good. I like the look of him.
Yeah, I've got absolutely nothing positive to say about these scrubs. The only thing that comes to mind is when we played them, like the first time, not the second time. When we drew, they got so excited they celebrated as though we're no longer winning the league, only to find out we still end up winning the league.
Oh, so I don't think they thought you all weren't winning the league. I just think they didn't want y'all to beat them in their last Goodison game.
But bro, the way they celebrated, it's like, yo, yes, Liverpool's not winning this anymore. That's the way it looked because it was like
when was the last time they won a trophy, bro? I don't think you were born, and you're older than me.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, but these scrubs, man, like I'm very happy and I'm very content. Put them right at the bottom because they deserve it, man. Like based off of talent, based off of form. What is this? 7 points in 8. Terrible. I don't even know who they played, but you told me they beat Forest. But everyone else, like, doesn't matter. 4 points out of 7 versus whoever is horrible. Regardless, that's F. That's jurisdiction to put them at F.
No, that is.
Who are the top scorers? I'm actually curious. Who are the top scorers this season? I know. What's that dude's name? The black guy. He's probably the top.
Oh, Beto.
Beto.
So their top goal scorers has been Ilman and Dyer, who actually also like as well. I think he's actually really good.
Yeah, he's good. He is good.
He's a really good dribbler, a really good ball carrier. And he even has he's been showcasing that he is somewhat clinical as well. I also like Dwight McNeil. I think he's an underrated playmaker, and I do think he would actually look. I think he's one of those players that would look better in a better team in terms of like what he offers. But yeah, outside of that, I don't really have much to say about like the rest of their players. So yeah, we just have to put them in F and move on.
The third highest scorer has 3 goals. Wow.
I mean, that's as much as Atletico's fourth highest scoring. So next we got Inter Milan. Yo, Inter are a funny club, Chris, because I was looking at them at Football Reference, and I saw something that caught my eye. It was a very interesting stat. And I don't know if you can. I don't know if you'll be able to figure out what it is. So Inter are.
Yeah, I was gonna say what I'm thinking about. It's not like a stat that people would put out, but sure. I don't know. I don't know what.
So Inter are bottom of the league this season for a specific action in terms of
Chance
statistics.
creation.
Huh?
Chance creation.
Oh no, that's kind of crazy, Chris. They would not be challenging for the league with that, but it helps with chance creation. It's just that it's something that you need to like attack to like score goals.
What?
Okay.
What?
Okay, think of this, bro. Playmaking is passing and what else?
Passing, crossing, dribbling.
Yes, that third one. Inter don't have no dribblers. Like
Wow.
I could not believe it when I was seeing it. Like I'm gonna show this to you, and it's actually insane. Hold on, let me find it because then we'll talk about their form. But like I just couldn't believe what I was seeing. Hold on, let me just sift through this. There we got it. So this is their successful dribbles per 90 in Serie A.
Wow.
I don't know if you see this.
Yeah, Thuram, less than 1.
And
Barella.
this is the highest.
Wow.
Like I don't that like that's genuinely like for a club that is literally second in the table. Like that is genuinely insane.
And now that is it's surprising, but
yeah, like it was just something that like really stuck out to me because I'm like that does not look right. Like especially like when you consider that like they're literally one of the best teams in the league. It's like I like not having any dribblers on your squad is kind of crazy, especially because like obviously like people don't really like think about dribbling in terms of why you would need it in a team context, but it's like basically if you're going up against low blocks, like you need to be able to break down the structure even outside of passing, and dribbling is usually like I don't say the more effective way because it's not as consistent, but like if you have a good dribbler on your team, like you can just get like chances created out of nothing. Like you know what I mean?
I mean that is true. But also the thing with like the dribbling stats, I don't mean like watching tape, but like dribbling stats in specific is you see like Kvaratskhelia versus Arsenal, like he was causing havoc, and he was driving the ball right, but I think on the stat sheet it said like he completed 0. So I feel like sometimes the way they account for what is a completed dribble versus what isn't, it's sometimes like a not the fairest yardstick.
Oh no, that's fair to a degree, but I feel like over the span of like 33 games, it's like all right, bro. Like that's like I feel like over the span of 33 games, like I don't know if I can buy that as because one thing if you can find like a 1 game sample size or like a couple game sample size, but it's like when we get to like game 33 and like because if I can find, let me see if I can find like
But there's another thing, right? There's another angle. It's like what actually is what's counted as a dribble. What is counted as a dribble is when you take the ball past the player. But what if you use the ball and you actually create separation, which should be the point of dribbling, to create separation, whether it's created as you get past or created as you as you get enough space to make like the right decision afterwards, whether it's to shoot or to pass, whatever. It doesn't really account for the second part of that, like creating space. It's as if you don't go past the player, it doesn't count as a dribble.
Well, wouldn't that just be? I think it would just count as a failed dribble, no? Or
Only if you
are you saying,
actually.
like if you lose the ball when you try to do that,
No,
or
no, 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 no. What I'm saying is, if player A has the ball, right,
Yeah.
and he actually manages to create separation, but the player B is still kind of near him, but there's separation. What I'm saying is, it won't count as a dribble if player A didn't actually go past him.
That's fair. That's fair. I see what you mean. I see. I get where you're coming from in that regard.
But this is still crazy though. Like the most is 0.9, and it's from your center forward. It's from the guy that has the ball the least.
I mean, hey man, that just means they're very careful in build up. What can I say? But looking at Inter over the last couple of matches, Inter, man, it's looking scary. I'm not gonna lie. It is looking spooky, Chris. This is looking spooky, bro. Look at where they're at. Where are they? Look at where they're at. Where are they?
14.
It's looking spooky, bro. And it's looking spooky because, bro, they were fine up until like 2 weeks ago. So you can see
it's crazy. I was gonna say it's crazy. It's like it's like they're capitulating similarly to the way Atletico was and is.
And I do think if you're Inter, I think it's a couple of things. I think one, it's fatigue, which shouldn't really shouldn't even be a thing because they rotate quite a bit. But they are also quite old. So obviously, so I think maybe their rotation and the fact that and their age probably like bounces it out in like a bad way. And then I think the other thing to keep in mind for Inter is that they have I don't know if it's all one of those things too where it's like the trying to balance out the fixtures has been like a issue for them because like essentially like in all comps they are winless in like their last 5 matches. So last time Inter have won a game in any competition was April 12th, which is like 3 weeks ago. And you look at who they've lost to, and I think this might be what's even more damning is like I established that that Bayern performance was obviously like they still won the game, but it was one of those things where I was looking at Inter, I'm like, this performance isn't really moving me. I'm not gonna lie. Then obviously they lose to a Bologna sandwich, who themselves are I think 4th in Serie A.
Probably. I think they are.
And then they go on and then they lose to Milan. They lose to Roma, who have actually been one of like the best teams in the league in this calendar year, similar to like a Crystal Palace. Since
Ranieri's doing something crazy, yeah. I think Ranieri's doing something crazy right now.
Yeah, he's been doing a good job with them. And then obviously then they just pull off a 3-3 draw out of their ass against Barcelona. So it's like I'm not even really sure what to say about these dudes.
Yeah, I think they're at an F, man. I think they're at an F. Like you can't be first and you can't be the most talented team and the favorites for the league and be winless in like 5 games and like be as diabolical as you've been. Like you got destroyed by your vastly inferior rivals, like City rivals. You got destroyed by them. You can't buy a win. You're struggling to score goals outside of the Barcelona game as well. Like they've been horrible. Absolutely horrible. And I've been one of their like I've been one of the guys that's like been giving them props all season, but what they're doing right now, none of it. It's been diabolical. Like shout out to the Barcelona result, but outside of that, they've been diabolical. Man.
All right, Chris, give me a second because I think my computer like froze or something, so I can't really like move the screen.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna like restart from like my other laptop until I can kind of get this situated. So I apologize about that. But I'm not ending the stream yet, so
Okay, no worries. No worries.
yes, sir, I apologize about that.
It's all good. It's all good.
That's why I need a new MacBook, bro. I've had this computer for like I've had this MacBook for like 5 years, and it's really starting to show its age. But yeah, back to what we were talking about. We were roasting Inter. So yeah, you were saying that this, given how the advantage that they seemingly have in the league and what they've been doing, they should be ashamed of themselves. Is that basically what?
Yeah, you should literally be ashamed. It's diabolical what they're doing.
Yeah, Napoli are. I'm not gonna lie. Like, with all due respect to Napoli, Lukaku's has been one of their main chance creators this season. I'm saying that, and I'm saying that with like no hyperbole whatsoever.
That's crazy. That is crazy, man. Like, bro, Conte is literally using, man. He's literally scraping from the bottom of the barrel to win this title.
And he might, and he might actually do it too, bro. Like, I'm actually speechless. And then also, another thing we got to speak on. Lautaro, where art thou?
Yeah, no, he's been disappointing.
This was a guy that I was told should have been a Ballon d'Or contender last year. This is what I was told, Chris. This is what people were telling me, Chris.
Well, at least you've known that I'm one of his biggest cheerleaders, and I've never said that, by the way. But yeah.
And I think what's even more worrying is the fact that so this season, underperforming his XG, he's not really been as much of a assist getter as he normally is either. So it's like, since you've been one of his bigger fans, what's wrong with this dude? What's going on with this guy?
I just think he's not having a good season. He's just been very mid. It's been very mid, and he hasn't been the same level of contributor to a title push as he has in like previous years.
Do you think that's partly because of the lack of an offseason? Because obviously I know they had the Copa America tournament.
I actually didn't think about that, but low key, nah. I actually don't. I doubt that. But as much as I'm saying I doubt that, I was about to mention the fact that I think we spoke about this a little bit, either the last time I was on stream or the time before that. That like sometimes athletes, they're not on form for whatever reason because of what they're actually going through, like personally, mentally, emotionally. Yeah, like they're not robots; they're human beings, So maybe that could play a factor. The fact that he barely had a holiday and he came into the season like fatigued already. Maybe that played a factor and trickled down to like so many different things.
And what's funny is he's actually been like rather prolific in the Champions League this season. So it's a bit of like an inverse from like last year, where he was prolific in the league and then he was diabolical in the Champions League. So
Mhm.
I think if you're Lautaro next season, you just kind of actually let me not even say next season because although he is going to miss the second leg, correct, because of his injury.
Think so.
So assuming Inter don't win the second leg, which obviously we don't know yet, I think if you're Lautaro and you're kind of like looking at these splits, you kind of just want to be able to find a way to put it together next year. I think that should be his main focus, if you will. Especially going to what's going to be a World Cup season next year. He wants to make sure he can fully separate himself from the likes of a Julian Alvarez, for that starting spot in Argentina, because there's another thing he has to think about as well.
Yeah. Or Inter in the Club World Cup.
I'm not sure actually. Hold on. I would be surprised if they weren't. Yeah, they are. They are. So
Yeah.
he's not getting. So he's not getting. Damn. So he's not gonna get. Damn. So he's not gonna get an off season for like 3 years.
Yeah.
Because last year with the Copa, this year with the World Cup, and then next year with the actual World Cup. Yeah. So he's not. So he's gonna be cooked. I'm not gonna lie. Like from physically. But with that being said, if you're Inter looking towards the rest of the season, you have to beat Hellas Verona tomorrow. Barcelona's going to be the big tie, and they still have to play Lazio at home. Must win for the end of the season. So May is definitely looking like a long month for them. But when the going gets tough, they got to get tougher. So it'll be interesting to see if they can do that or not. In terms of just like pure record keeping, so since the 14th of March, they've won. They actually won a fair few games. They've won 4 games. Won 4. They've drew 3, or drawn 4 actually, and they've lost 3. So that's a very. I don't even know what to make of that record, to be honest.
What 4-10? Yeah, it's mid. But
And
they
I
played
will
a
give
lot of
them this
games.
though. They did beat our Atalanta away, so I will give them credit for that in this time span that we are looking at. So I feel like for them, I feel like a C is fine. I feel like a C is fair.
Yeah,
'Cause
because
I
they
think
beat. Yeah.
Because I don't know. I think they've beaten Atalanta away. They've beaten Bayern away. They drew with Barca away, and then you offset that with them getting smoked by Milan in the semi, and then losing to Roma and Bologna. So I think that evens out to a C, to be honest.
Fair enough.
Now we got the old lady. I don't know why they call themselves that, to be honest, but we got the old lady. You vent ass because 13 points from their last 8.
Same as
They had a
Milan.
bit of a revival there with Kolo Muani's form when he first initially got there. He's obviously slowed down. And I don't know. I think at this point, if you're a Juve, like I don't even like. I think at this point, what they're trying to do is just make Champions League next season, and also it's going to be quite embarrassing if Bologna finish ahead of them, considering that they took their manager. But funny enough, they're literally playing Bologna this weekend, so we'll see about that. Literally.
Yeah. Wait, how many losses does Juventus have now? Because I remember halfway through the season they were unbeaten, but they were barely winning.
Yeah, don't make me laugh, please. No, let's not do that. I don't know why it doesn't say on here. It's kind of annoying. So they've lost 4 games.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, 14 draws, which is the joint most in the league, I think.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
Less.
most
Some
definitely.
below Parma have more.
They have the same amount. Shout out to Parma. No, 6 wins and you're not getting relegated. That's crazy. But back to Juventus. Like I think for Juve, I never think it's been a season where what the issue for them has honestly just been like a failure to execute at critical moments. I think that's been like their main problem, which is a bit of a what's I like to call a bit of a cop out because like obviously like if you don't execute for any club, that's how you don't get the results that you want. But I think specifically in those like in that first half of the season when they were drawing merchants, I think that was been their biggest thing. But I mean, I'm looking at them now, and I do think they have been less consistent as of late. Like they have had some good performances. Like I'm thinking of when they slapped up Inter, and then they've also had some trash performances. So I think they've just been. I think instead of like the steady state of mid that they were at before, I think now they've kind of just been like all over the place. I've honestly, if I would say who I think their best player this season has been, I'd probably go with I don't even know how to say this guy's name. I think it's like Kapram Turam. I don't know if you know who he is.
Oh yeah, Durant.
No, he's probably been like their most consistent player. Also, another disappointing thing for Juve is Dusan Vlahovic. My word, this dude don't be playing, bro. Like,
And he's getting 300K a week, man.
like Chris, bro. If I were to ask you who's on more league goals, Dusan Vlahovic or Nicholas Jackson, who do you think the answer to that question would be?
Nicky Jackson.
Which is even crazier when you consider that Nicholas Jackson hadn't scored a league goal for 5 months. I also,
yo, he was on 8 goals, bro. He was on 8 goals for time, yo.
bro, he hadn't scored a goal for 5 months, and he missed like 2 months due to injury. And Dusan Vlahovic, a guy that's one older, and two someone that we view as being not just better, but like a whole tier better. Why do you think? Why do you think that he hasn't worked out in Juve? Because like, dude was a force at Fiorentina.
Yeah. Why? I don't know, man. Maybe the badge is too heavy. Maybe he's just not that good, which is weird because it's like when you look at his skill set, you would think he's better, but like I don't know. Maybe it's a mental thing. Maybe he's got a what's it called, imposter syndrome at this point. He doesn't think he's as good as as he should be. He doesn't think he should be in the situation that he's in anymore, which is why he's plummeting. He's even worse now than when he was still good, but he was struggling like last year and the years before. It's weird, but I think we can conclude that it's time for both parties to go their separate ways, and then maybe he'll be better afterwards.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, and I do think too. Like when I'm looking at Juve as a whole this year, right? Like you look at the goal, you look at just kind of their general statistics, right? Like second best defense in the league, but only 8th in terms of goals scored. You're not gonna what's it called? You're not gonna challenge for any titles, only being the 8th best offense in the league. Especially when you consider that they're like one of the top teams in terms of possession. It's like they're just not turning their possession into anything meaningful. And I do think part of that is just because one, they don't really have any. I think I think they're missing. To be honest, I think they're missing a goal scoring winger.
I think I agree, but I think they're missing a bunch. I think they're missing more like genuine creative players, and they're missing a killer as a striker. And I agree with you. They're also missing goal scoring wingers.
Because what's funny is even when I look at them in terms of XG, like XG has them down as 7th. So like it's not, and they're only overperforming by like 5. So it's not even like a thing where it's like, oh, we're just creating a lot of chances, but we're not executing on them. Like they're firmly trash in terms of goal creating. So it's like, you're not creating enough chances. You're a slow ass team. You have a striker that isn't scoring even when you do get chances for him. I don't know. I don't know what to say about what they should do for next year, to be honest. Because
I
like
think
you
it's
said, there's just a lot wrong that they need to fix.
yeah. Like, do they have money? Are they financially in a better position than they were like 2 seasons ago?
Um, let's look at their transfer market. I always like doing that. It's always pretty funny. It's funny. Madrid. Like when they were but prior to getting Jude, they hadn't spent like crazy money in
Yeah,
like 4 years.
yeah, yeah. I noticed. Crazy. It's not the Madrid that I grew up on.
Hey man, they realized they could just get free agents, bro, because they're Madrid, and that's Loki even scarier if they do it right. Be like, they could just be like, hey, I mean, why can't you just run down your contract, bro? We're fucking Madrid, bro. Do you not know who we are?
Yeah, yeah. Now if TAA leaves, bro, he's gonna be so hated, man. Yeah,
Hey,
bro. He's already hated by like certain people in the base, the
well, because
fan base, where they're like, man,
he's trying to cost y'all a
grown this
champion.
out so much.
They spent
Hmm?
200 million this summer. Oh
No practice.
hell no!
No practice. No
On
practice.
who?
Douglas Luiz,
60
50 mil.
million on Coop Miners.
This is
Oh
malpractice.
Lord.
How do you spend 110 mil and not get better?
No, not 110, 197.
No. I'm just talking
Oh,
the
you're talking about
first two.
the two main bozos. Yeah.
How do you spend 110 mil and they don't make you better? That's crazy. This is malpractice. This is why they go broke. This is why they were broke a couple of years ago.
No, this is diabolical, bro. Yeah, no, yeah, these dudes are after, bro. I'm not gonna lie, bro. I am truly speechless. Like, I did not realize they spent this much money this summer. It's even funny because they got rid of Horson for only 15 mil, and that's looking like an L so far.
Yeah, it's one of the biggest odds, man.
And then you even just look at what they've been doing lately as well. Like,
And also, sorry to cut you off. I don't know how this kid's form is right now, but I remember his form was crazy.
oh, you know what?
Moise,
Moise Ken? Oh no,
yeah.
he's still been really good. He's just been injured more as of
Mm.
late. But like,
But the fact that they sold him for 13 million euros and he's cooking.
but what's crazy? There's only like the release clause for him is only like 50 million euros,
Well,
and he's only 25.
yeah,
Like
he's cooking.
I just did a video that I released earlier this morning. And it was about like players that were reviving their careers this season.
Mm.
He was one of the players that I chose. And now I think about it, I don't know why I didn't put Gravenberch on that list. I don't know why I didn't. Actually, I probably didn't need to because he's a bit young, so revive is a bit crazy. But one of the things that I noted was that this was like the first year that Rose played over like 2090s in like basically in the last 4 years.
Wow.
And the last time he did that, he scored 17 goals for PSG. So this wasn't a dude that like didn't know how to put the ball in the back of the net when given game time, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So yeah, they got rid of that guy. They kept Vlahovic, and it has definitely not panned out as of right now. Douglas Luiz basically doesn't play at all. And ironically enough, the best midfield transfer they've gotten so far looks like the guy they only spent like 20 mil on. So, what does that say? And
Yeah, now if they want to get better, they actually need to spend smarter, man.
yeah, no, like seriously, like that. I can't believe I did not realize they spent that much money this summer. But like that is diabolical. Like truly, truly diabolical. But that's enough of roasting Inter. What have they done in this time span? So for the last 6 weeks, they lost 3-0 to Fiorentina. And I'm curious, did Ken score in that? He didn't score in that. They're lucky that he didn't score in that because I would have roasted them right now if they did. So they lost 3-0 to Fiorentina. They beat Genoa. They drew with Roma, which is, like I said, probably which is a low-key a better result than I'm going to give him credit for because, like I said, Roma have been really good since like November. They beat Lecce, they lost to Parma, and they beat Monza. So they haven't played many hard teams. They've lost to they haven't beaten any of the good teams they have played in this time span. And it doesn't really seem.
Yeah, they lost 2 games.
Yeah. And funny enough, they're going to be playing Bologna and Lazio in 2 of their last 4 matches. 2 of the rivals they need for top 4.
Oh, hold on. Are they in the Club World Cup?
Yeah, I don't know why they're in the Club World Cup.
My goodness.
That is interesting. I don't know what they've done over the last 4 years to make it into there. But what's it called? In terms of the league table right now, so obviously there's only 6 points between Atalanta in 3rd and Fiorentina in 8th. And if you're Juventus right now, I feel like if they can win 2 of their last 4 matches and maybe get at least a draw from either Bologna or Lazio, I feel as if that should be enough to get top 4.
I agree.
And Juve, you better not let Bologna sandwich finish above you on the table. I better not see Bologna in 4th and y'all in 5th at the end of the season, bro. Respectfully. In terms of the tier list table, I'm probably gonna put them in C. Do you think C is fair? Because they just again haven't played good teams either. They've lost to they haven't beaten any of the good teams they have played, but technically their record is good overall. So I don't really have much to say on that.
But in the last 8, as far as I remember, wasn't their record the same as AC Milan? So
it was the same.
Yeah. So I think I'm okay with putting them at D.
That's fair. I'm not gonna go to bat for them. Oh, Leon Goretzka. Olympic Leon Goretzka. Holy effing fuck. Chris, they robbed us, bro. This club right here, they robbed us.
What do you mean? Why?
Leon, they robbed us of an all-time stream, Chris.
How?
What do you mean, how?
What? I'm still trying to understand how.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Oh, Man United. Okay.
Yeah, I'm like, was this during your sabbatical? I was so confused.
Yes, it was kind of. Yeah, it was when I just came back, but I wasn't watching like that. But yeah, I remember now.
Leon, you effing bums. You. Oh wow, bro. I'm still disgusted. I'm so unbelievably disgusted at what these dudes did, bro. Chris.
Now it was a disgrace, bro. They were like 4-3 up, right? In extra time, and then in like 2-3 minutes.
You know what's funny? I uploaded another video that got taken down because of copyright, but it was basically me because on YouTube, UEFA uploaded the last 10 minutes of that game, straight up. Chris, bro, they didn't string 4 passes together a single time in those 10 minutes. and not only that, they just kept hitting long balls, despite the fact that they probably won 1 out of every 5 aerial duels, bro, in that time span as well. No, seriously, if you're ever bored, you should do a game. You should do a drinking game where you you watch that video back, those last 10 minutes, right? And you drink every time Man United win the ball a header in the air, bro. You will actually die of alcohol poisoning. So
that bad?
No, it was that bad, and it was to the point where I'm just like, okay, so if this didn't work, if you've lost the header 5 times, why do you keep doing it? And I get that technically they were down to 10 men. But like, frankly, that's not a fucking excuse. And they
Nah,
took
he,
off Ryan Cherky in that, like, before that collapse
oh,
as well.
I didn't know that. They took him off.
Yeah. So
Why?
because they're stupid. So based off of that one game, they should be in like freaking I or H if that was even like a freaking thing. But we are balanced here, so we're gonna look at the rest of their games in context. But like that was disgusting. I just have to put that out there. That was what they did was genuinely they should be ashamed of themselves. That's all I'm gonna say. So I'm over it now. Let's talk about them in totality now. But damn, they're frauds. So Lyon last 8 matches, they're
Wow.
actually third on the table. Only
Yeah.
2 points behind, only a point behind PSG. Shout out to them because we'll talk about them later. Only a point behind PSG. Ryan Cherky is that guy. Like respectfully, he is actually that guy. Just even like looking at Lyon as of late. Funny enough, like that they've only lost. I think they've lost 3 times in this entire time span. So they lost to Strasbourg, who are pretty good themselves. They beat Lille, which is a pretty good result, all things considered. Obviously that they had that stupid first leg with Manchester United, where Onana basically gifted them 2 goals. So shout out to him. Beat Auxerre. We're not going to talk about that stupid game. I'm glad that they lost this game because clearly they lost this game because of this stupid game, and then they beat Rennes. So in terms of like their record's pretty decent. I think they've won 5. So they've won 5, lost 3, and they've drew once. But I do have to give them a thumbs down because because they basically have lost to they've beaten one good team and they've lost to like 2 good teams. So they've had it easy and they haven't been able so far to turn up when they've been challenged to do so. That's basically all I can say about them.
Fair. Only thing I would say is, but I guess we're looking at everyone under the same standard. Only thing I would say is, like, the standard I have for them isn't that high. So them just winning a game is fair enough.
Okay, but
Because I'm looking at that form chart and it's like them being third just in the league alone, not adding Europa and any other cup, but just them in the league alone. That's pretty hot though.
yeah, okay, I get that, but like they're not bad enough that we're gonna treat them like Everton. So it's like
Mhm.
because even when I look at because Lyon, they're basically in this point where like they have to finish top 4. Like they literally have to get Champions League because if they don't, they're getting clapped. So, and even when I look at them in the league, they have like their 3rd best in terms of offense, 8th best in terms of defense, 4th in terms of possession. So like, they're basically it seems like, and remember like their coach has basically been like banned from the field for like 9 months. Funny ass guy. Basically when I look at Lyon, I look at some of their best players. I remember Cherky, Lacazette's been decent at times. Tolisso was pretty good up until that stupid United game where he got the red card that helped ignite that dumbass comeback. Honestly, I'd probably put them like C. C fair.
C. Yeah, C's fair.
Like for me, it's again losing to United is shameful. And then the only really good team they've actually beaten in this time span has been Lille. So I have not much to say about them. Next up, we have Bum United, bro. Bumchester United. Which, it's really annoying because of the bum ass Europa League, bro. We can't just put them in F, bro.
Nah, for legit. Like, if it wasn't for that, they would have been ahead of Everton at F.
Like Chris, but look at this. Look at this nonsense, bro. Look at this.
9 points in 8 games. Well,
Like that's relegation form, bro. Like that's actual like flirting versus harassment relegation form right there, bro.
and they've had such a weird season in the league. Like, every time I think, man, United can't get any worse. They just keep keep
literally,
setting
bro.
the record straight there. No. There's a lower point that we can get to.
But you know what's gonna be even more annoying? I have a sneaking suspicion they're gonna do something against my club when Chelsea play them.
Oh, you guys still have to play. Oh.
Because you know what's even funny is Chelsea play them before the Europa League final.
Where? At Old Trafford or at the Bridge?
At the Bridge. Yeah, at the Bridge. It's like the Friday, because basically the Europa League final is on a Wednesday, and Chelsea play them like the Friday before. Which also I don't get why the Europa League is before. The Europa League final is before the end of the season.
Yeah, it's always like during the week, like a week or two before the Champions League final.
No,
or like
before the end of the Premier League season.
Oh, but yeah. Well, wait. Well, this year's a bit different. Wow.
Yeah, it's a bit weird. And I don't get why the Conference League final is after the Europa League final. It doesn't really make any sense to me if the Europa League is a bigger competition. I
don't understand why the Conference League is a thing. I still don't see why there was a need to create this tournament if the majority of teams are like D-tier teams. Like, what is the purpose?
Well, the issue is it is technically for the D-tier teams, but like it's more like the way UEFA distributed these spots. Like, because technically it would just make more sense for like Chelsea, Betis, and Fiorentina to just be in the Europa League, and then like the 3 worst Europa League teams to like be in the Conference League, if that makes sense.
If the Conference League still existed, yes. But my thing is, what is the actual reason for the existence of the Conference League?
It's not like listen, without being derogatory, it's for like the bum ass teams, bro. The issue is
like, who's even watching these games, bro, outside of Chelsea?
The Djurgården fans.
Nonsense, man.
No, respect Djurgården, bro. What the hell? Respect Djurgården.
Also, respect Noah.
Listen, Noah, Toa, Sukatoa, Sola Takoa, it don't matter. Although, to be fair, if you're a Fiorentina fan, you must hate this competition because I think they've lost 2 finals. And if they get over Betis and Chelsea make it 3, I think they're just going to crash out at that point.
That's crazy. They could actually make their 3rd Conference League final. That's crazy.
Well, if they lose a 3rd one in a row, to be fair, I'd crash out if I lost a 3rd final in any competition in a row, to be honest.
Yeah.
At that point, I'm just like, all right, bro, what are we actually doing right now? But, okay, well, we got a bit sidetracked. But anyway, United, trash in the Premier League, 9 points out of their last 8 matches. Like, that's really bad. That's really bad.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's F tier bad. Like, it's horrible. Absolutely. Can I see their top scorers? Can I see the production these brothers are putting up in the league alone?
Oh yeah, let's cook, bro. Give me a second. We're gonna cook. While I looked that up, shout out to Bruno though. Shout out to Bruno. I've never really given Bruno credit like that.
I was gonna say he's one of the few ones I respect, man. I got respect for him.
All right, this is where we're at right now, bro. Also, I want you to keep in mind Diallo's been injured for like 2 months, by the way.
Okay. But sure, 8, 6, and 5, bro. This reminds me of when Liverpool was employing Bilan Jovanovic, Aquilani, what's his name? Vornan, and all these scrubs in like 2010, 2011. Joe Cole.
Hey, respect John Joe Shelby.
Paul Konchesky.
And Stuart Downing.
This reminds me of when we had all these scrubs. And then there was that one Bugatti surrounded by trash in Suarez, and
Y'all really abused that brother. Actually, I'm gonna call him brother, given what his history. But y'all really abused that dude, bro. Also, look at the Zerk. And keep on. This is GA, so this is not just goals.
look, how many goals does he have?
I'm actually curious. How many goals does this dude have? About 3.
3. Okay, still 3 is diabolical. Look,
Now, 0.19 goals per 90. That's crazy, bro.
that's just like you've seen that image from Ayo Ashi, that soccer manga where it's a football coach talking to his football student, where he's like, I think he's leaning on a table and he's like, become a defender.
No, wait. Hold on. I have the perfect reaction for this crap, bro. Look at I got you.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
Nah, legit, like 3 goals as a number 9 is insane. How many does Hoyland
Yeah,
have?
3 goals. Now 3 goals is the number 9.
No good.
Yeah, it's terrible. How many does Hoyland have?
You're a bad person, Chris. I want you to know that. He has 4 actually, so he has more.
Yeah, but these dudes, man.
No,
Hoyland
no,
in
Haaland-
specific-
no. I will say this: European competition, Horland, bro. That brother, European competition, that brother knows how to cook, bro. So
Hey,
what?
man,
What's
I'm
your
just.
say about that?
Hmm?
So, no, because Horland in European competitions, so he's played 19 Europa League and Champions League matches for United,
Mm.
and he has 10 goals.
Man, you saw my text. I don't know if it was today or yesterday. In terms of like, there's a bit of inflation in these European comps. There's some inflation going on, bro. Like, there's a reason why he's got 4 league goals, bro. Because against actual comp, man, this brother's sorry. He's sorry.
To be fair, this team's sorry, bro. But like, jeez, Rasmus, bro. Like, 25 shots all year, bro. This is horrendous, Chris, bro. Bro's averaging barely a shot a game, bro. Or a shot on every 90 minutes, sorry, per technically.
Yeah, now he's done, man. He's probably gonna get sold.
Like, this might be the and actually I'm curious. Let me contrast this with the Europa League, bro. So in the Europa League, the production's slightly better, but not by much in terms of like getting shots off and stuff. But like, yeah, 1.2 is crazy. Like that's insanely bad. I can't even lie. All I can say is, they're just lucky that the Europa League exists, bro. They're lucky that the Champions League teams don't drop down anymore, bro. They're lucky that they've gone 3 red cards in the knockout round.
Yeah, I saw a tweet about that, and someone saying, "Yo, this is the luckiest route to a final ever."
No, listen. We were making fun of Jim Ratcliffe, but I think this is where all the money was going. He was like, oh, like so. And Chris, if I'm right, if this is where all the money was going, maybe we have to give him more respect, bro, because we thought he was crazy.
Good. Smart investment.
Exactly. Again, in terms of their record throughout this run, so they beat oh my gosh, this is bad. So they beat Leicester, lost to Forest, drew with City, drew with Lyon, lost to Newcastle. And I gotta say, this Newcastle performance was disgraceful, by the way. Beat Lyon, lost to Wolves, drew with Bournemouth, and then beat Athletic Club. Because I don't know what to make of this.
This game against Bilbao was really out of nowhere, man.
No. Who's Bilbao? What is a Bilbao? as far as I'm concerned, their new name is Athletic Bill Ass. So we're looking at 3 wins, 3 losses, and a whole bunch of draws. Honestly, I think that I'm gonna go with E. I'm gonna go with E tier, bro.
Yeah, just because of that Bilbao and Leon results.
Bilbao, Leon are actually carrying these dudes, bro, from certain annihilation, because like 9 point. No, I actually can't go over the 9 and 8, bro. Like that's that's really bad. Next up we got Prison FC. Bro, did you hear the thing about Dimitri Payet as well?
What?
Let's just say bro's a freaky frog.
Oh, I don't remember what it was in specific, but I remember skimming through it. Yeah.
Yo, and keep in mind, this dude's like a Marseille legend, bro. So actually, it's actually just part of the course if you really think about it. But okay, so Marseille, they start off the season well. I remember last time I said they've been crap since November, and it seems like they've been continuing that like level of crapness. So they've only gotten 12 points from their last 8 matches. Chris Brown has been very prolific for them. And I think the issue with them is outside of Chris Brown, there's really not been anybody to pick up the scoring load that much. I know
Chris Brown is crazy.
Bro, that's what he is, bro. I'm not gonna call him by his actual name, though. And he looks like him too, so like he's not helping himself. And also we've heard those text messages, bro. Put your legs up is crazy. So to be fair, I think Yuri, he got like a hat trick in his last game. But like outside of that, like I think Marseille's main problem has been like outside of Chris Brown, they just haven't had a consistent goal scorer. And also like defensively, 10th in the league. Like my bro, you're not gonna keep up with PSG with an average to below average defense, bro. This is just not gonna happen. And considering that like they have 64% possession, that tells me that this is a bit of a coaching problem in the sense that he doesn't have a good counter press. He doesn't have a good rest defense to actually like set his players up for success when they lose the ball. Or what do you think, Chris? What do you think when you make out these numbers anyway?
I think when you have the 10th best defense, even if you have the second best attack, you can't be so far away from PSG and think, oh, we can keep up. Like something's got to give. You can't be so far away in like every department. Like even though they're second, there's still a significant gap between first and second goals per game.
What's really egregious too is if you have the 10th best defense and you have the second most possession, that means that teams are not even going to be attacking you that much because they don't even have the ball that much. So I think that point makes this look even worse because that is just like, so what? Basically, when you don't have the ball, like what the hell are y'all doing?
Yeah, you're just getting counted and cooked.
You know what's funny? De Zerbi is falling out with these players too.
Really?
Yeah, bro was out here defending Chris Brown and calling him his son just to. Because I remember I saw like a quote that like he said he would just he was gonna stop training with them or something like that. Let me see if I can find it. It was pretty funny. I'm not gonna lie. He was like, oh, I don't want to like. Let me not even try to like sloppily quote him, bro. Like I gotta go find it. So you can keep cooking these dudes while I go look for the quote.
But yeah, like you're not gonna compete for anything if you're so far away from PSG in like almost every department, from defense to offense. Even though your offense is good, it's like that's the difference right there. Defense so far off, offense so far off. End of the day, it still is a good season for them. End of the day, because they're gonna end up finishing second. But in the last 8 games, I think they had like 12. Last 8 games of the league, they had like 12 points, which is kind of terrible form, especially for like the second place team.
Actually, I think are they even second? Yeah, okay, they're still second. I mean, they're not even second by that much. They could easily, like, they could easily end this season in as low as. I mean, I must say 7th because I don't think they're gonna do that. But like, because there's 3 matches left, and who are they playing? They're playing Lille away, which is gonna be tough. But then they're playing Le Havre and Rennes, so realistically they should be getting at least like 6 points out of that,
which should be enough for at least third.
To at least finish like top 3. But I will say though, like, I'm actually curious, how bad have they been since like recently? Like even beyond what we've been going over. Like this is terrible. They lost 3 in a row. Then they beat Toulouse. Then they lost to Monaco. They got smacked up by Monaco. And then they bounced back and they beat Montpellier 5-1 and Brest 4-1. So basically, they're just the type of team where it's either going really well for them or it's going really bad for them with like no in between. I do think that's on the coach. Because I remember like De Zerbi's like, I believe it was his first season in Brighton when everyone loved him. You remember like that was like that one game where they got like freaking destroyed by Everton like 5-0 at home or something like that.
5 or 6, yeah.
And this was like an Everton team that was like desperately trying to fight off relegation. So I think I do think if you're looking at De Zerbi, like it's just one of those things where he needs to figure out how to like properly deal with rainy days per se. Like when shit isn't sweet and the roses aren't smelling, you can't stink up like the manure, bro.
Yeah.
And so given everything
yeah, I was gonna say, like, I'm okay with them in like D. Maybe even E.
They've won 3, lost 3. Is that what it is? Lost 2, won 1.
1-1.
And no, that's other one. And then they've won 2 and lost 1. So yeah, they're 3-3.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I'm okay with like who's in D? Yeah, AC Milan and Juve. I think
that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. Oh god, now we get to these freaking annoying guys.
These guys have been in good form, man.
I know, and that's it's been very unfortunate. They have been on good form. Like on our ugly, they've actually been pretty good for the last like 8 matches. So 17 points from their last 8, looking at over 2 points a game, which is not bad. Oh wait, I thought I had that thing shared. Sorry. Yeah, they're looking at 17 points from their last 8, which is not like the worst, which is not bad to be honest. Looking at kind of what they've been going up against, I think they've played some good teams in that time span as well. Like they're going to be playing Wolves this weekend. Obviously, just made into the FA Cup final. They beat Nottingham Forest, again, a team that I was told was like really good, Chris, by the way. I don't know why you're laughing. This is a very good team. They beat Nottingham away. They beat Aston Villa at home the week prior. They also beat Crystal Palace 5-2, which again is impressive considering how good Palace have been.
And they were 2-0 down, right?
Yeah, they were 2-0 down as well, yes. They beat Leicester, they drew United, and they beat Bournemouth away in the FA Cup. So honestly, this has been a good week and a half. I mean, good month and a half. They've beaten Bournemouth away. They've beaten Crystal Palace. They've beaten Nottingham Forest away. They've beat Aston Villa. So they've beaten 4 good teams. They drew with Brighton. They drew with United, which is an L. Not an L, but like, you know what I mean? Like, not a good result. And they've even beaten Everton, who are just an annoying ass team to deal with in general. So they haven't lost.
Yeah, I think this is its fault.
Yeah, no, honestly, like I don't really have much, which is even more impressive because I think Haaland's been injured since since the United game? Or was it since the Crystal Palace game? Okay, he didn't play it. So yeah, I think it's been since the Crystal Palace game. I think Marmoush has been okay for them, but I think he'll probably be better next season when they can kind of utilize his strengths more. But to be honest, like I think I'm fine putting them in B. Like I'd even go as far as to say like,
hey,
maybe by the end of the season it could even get to A. But I definitely think B is fair. What do you say?
I think A, man. Like they haven't lost a single game. The only result where I'm like, should have done better is United because they've stunk. Outside of that, though, like winning matches in a row, like no. I think they're comfortably more impressive than Bayern and Dortmund.
I mean, I would probably, yeah, honestly, yeah, no, that's fair. Because I'm really trying to think about it. Like, I would say their schedule has been slightly easier, but they've been comfortably better record-wise. So that's fair enough in my opinion. Next up we got Monaco. Moniasco? No, that didn't make any sense. I just want to be annoying. Sorry. Anyway, last 8 for them, 15 points. Not the worst. I think if you're Monaco, like going into the season, their aim was to get Champions League again. Which it looks like. What's it looking like for them? Hold on, let me pull up the table. So right now they're currently 4th, a point ahead of Lyon and Nice and Strasbourg. I would say this though, if you're Monaco, because Lyon were crap for like a good 3 months. So the fact that they're only a point behind you is a bit disappointing because Monaco were just about as good as PSG for the first 2 months of the season. I do think for them probably the biggest piece of fresh air has been that new striker that they got, Biref. Obviously, they crashed out of the Champions League to Benfica earlier before this time span. They actually haven't really played that many matches after. They've only played 5? 6. They've played 6 matches. They've won 3. They've drew 2 and they've lost 1. And in terms of the best teams they've beaten in that time span, you're looking, they beat Nice, who are a point behind them. They beat Marseille 3-0. And they drew at Strasbourg, who Strasbourg have been one of the best offensive teams in the league this season. So that's not, so keeping a clean sheet off of them is not the worst result ever.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like I don't have much to say on Monaco, to be honest.
Me neither. I think fair enough. They haven't been terrible. I think they're a C team maybe.
Yeah, I think that's totally fair. I don't think they haven't done anything offensive to that you would say that they've been diabolical, but they haven't really done much amazing either to put them any higher than that. So yeah, I think average is fair. Next up we got Napoli, or as I like to call them, we sacrificed every competition for the Serie A league. Honestly, respect to them, because if you had asked me 3 weeks ago, I was very confident that Serie A was over, bro, and that they weren't gonna, and Inter were done and dusted. In terms of like their last 8-game form, 18 points. So you're looking at 6 wins and 2 draws. Oh, sorry, no, not 6 wins, 2 draws. That's my bad. You're looking at what, like 5 wins?
5 wins and 3 draws, then, if they haven't lost.
Yeah, if they haven't lost, or 6 wins and 2 losses, if that was what it was. I don't remember their form as a whole. But like 18 points from 8 matches, that's really good. It's gotten that's second in Serie A for that time span. It's gotten
5 wins and 3 losses. I mean 3 draws. Yeah.
Okay, so they've been unbeaten in that time span. Thank you for that. Which put them firmly back in control for Serie A. And another thing I think is very interesting too is, Chris, look at the difficulty of their opponent, of their schedule compared to Inter's.
Yeah, they're playing relegation fodder and
Yeah.
mid-table.
Exactly. So doing that plus having, already a 3-point advantage. So the league, so like their destiny is completely in their own hands. I want to give respect to the Lukaku. I want to give respect to McTominay. I want to give respect to Anguissa. Is there anybody else I should be apologizing to? Maybe Merit, Lobotka. Only because I remember at a certain point after Krava left, that attack was not looking good, bro. That's all I can say. It was not looking good. I think it's just gone to a point now where they've just been able to get it over the line. They haven't actually, and like you said, they haven't lost since February, actually, which is really impressive considering that we're in freaking May as of right now. And kudos to them for being able to take advantage of Inter's stumbling towards the end of the season. If I was looking at things that concern me, I do think the fact that Lukaku's, again, their most creative player by quite a distance, is a bit but like they have kind of dealt with it fine. So it's like it is what it is at this point, right? Like if you have certain flaws, but you've been able to like deal with it for like 80% of the season, there's no point in me still harping on it. You know what I mean?
True. And like they're very limited, but they just somehow just keep on narrowly getting results, and they're getting it at the right time right now.
I mean,
and they got it at the right time while Inter was in horrible form. Like,
16 clean sheets is insane.
Yeah.
So credit to their defense, credit to their goalkeeper for that. I think honestly, what it is, they've just been managing to squeeze the remaining juices out of the talent of these players to get over the line. So hopefully they can do that. Because I think they've been, because I think they've just been able to play above their skin, and I do think they deserve the credit for that. Obviously, with Napoli, the only thing I would look at them kind of funny for is because of how early they've gone out of other competitions. They've only had a game a week to focus on, compared to like Inter or Atalanta or whatever. So, which doesn't really take away from how good they've been, but that's just something to consider as well, if you get what I mean.
Sure.
And then I think another thing that is interesting is if I were to look at their year-over-year performance, this is like the third best amount of points that they've had over this many games. So kudos to them for that as well. All I will say is,
yeah. I was just trying to see. Yeah, it's not surprising actually. When I reflect back, it's not surprising.
Also, what I will say is crazy is, the fact that they didn't win the league in 2018 is crazy, bro.
Yeah, man, those sorry years, man. Like, bro, I always say, man, Roma and Napoli, I always feel bad for them. From 2015-16 until 2018, man. Just feel bad for them.
Yeah, that's actually wild, bro. Like yeah, 84 points at 34 matches is crazy. But so in terms of the tier list, I'm probably gonna put them like
Hey,
nine. Because I just don't believe in their strength of schedule to put them that high.
but you don't think that because they're in a title race as underdogs, that every single game has actually been tough, regardless of how talented that team is. But contextually,
Listen,
even if
I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not giving them like the underdog thing to me. Like for me, it is not moving me anywhere. I'm gonna be honest, because I'm just looking at this list, and like the best team they've played in this stretch that they beat was Milan, a team that we both acknowledge. We put like what? What did we put Milan like? D. So it's like, of course, I have to give them credit because they've done what they've needed to do. They've been who's in front of them. But it's like I can't put them A either because like they just haven't had a statement win that's like, oh yeah, like these dudes are like that. But like again, they've been doing what they need to do though, so I still give them credit for that. So I feel like B is fair.
Not fair. No, I'm cool with that. B.
Next we have Perry. Honestly, I don't think we need to spend that much time on this. Do we agree that they're an S?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't
The only nitpick that we could give him, only nitpick we could give him is that loss to Nice like a week ago. But outside of that, nah. Yes.
well, that and the Villa second leg too. That was looking spooky, but generally generally their highs have been way higher. So I feel like it kind of offsets that. But yeah, credit to them though, and it's a credit to them that we didn't even spend that much time talking about them and to put them where they are. Next up, we got Real Madrid. Oh, I screwed up the second R roll, but we got Real Madrid. In terms of their last 8 game sample size, they're actually like in really good form. They've 19 points, so that means they've won 6, lost 1, and drew 1.
18.
Wait, I didn't hear what did you say?
18 points. They're third there by the form table.
Oh, crap. That's my bad. Okay, so the 18 points, which is still good as well. I mean, it's a bit weird because like they're kind of like the reverse United, where like they've been good in the league, but then you kind of just look at what they've done in the other competitions, and they've just taken big L after big L. Right? You think about losing both ties to Arsenal, a team that we've been making fun of like the entire year, losing to Barcelona, especially in the manner that they did, where they literally had the game won and they effed it up. So, you think about the 4-4 against Sociedad, which happened in this time span as well, where they were incredibly lucky to even not lose that game either. But then you juxtapose that with them, winning a lot of games. Like they have won a lot of games, to be fair to them as well.
Also lost a lot of games.
Yeah, that's true. They've lost. So if we were to look at this, they've lost 3. They've
Plus 1.
won 4. No, won 5. They've won 5
and won 5.
No, was it 4? No, it's 3. Oh no, it is 4. It is 4. You're right. It is 4. Oh, I forgot about that. The Valencia game. All right, Madrid. Yeah, never mind. I have to stop caping for you now, but I forgot about that game. Chris, I watched that game live. When Hugo Duro scored that winning goal, I screamed.
Yeah. No, I remember. I watched it as well.
Okay, yeah, Real Madrid. Never mind. Never mind. I'm not caping for y'all. I'm not caping for y'all at all, bro. They're going in C, bro. Freaking hell, man.
Low key, I'd even accept it, man. 4 losses, yeah, I would accept a D. Losing home and away to Arsenal as well.
No, losing home and away is crazy. I can't lie. Okay, who have they beaten? Who have they beaten? So they beat Villarreal away, which is a good result. And they beat Athletic Bilbao, but like I'm pretty sure Athletic Bilbao rested their players and their ass. So and they're athletic. So like how much credit can I really give you for that? Mm. I think I'm still gonna stick with C because at least they have a positive record over this time span, but it is looking spooky though.
Mm.
It's looking hella spooky, Chris. I can't lie. It's looking scary, bro.
C's fair. C's fair.
All right, next up we got the Romans.
Hey, they're an A. I don't care who they played. They're an A, bro.
No, I don't care who they play. It's crazy. That's diabolical work there, Chris. So last 8, they're actually top of Serie A over the last 8 games.
They're an A.
20 points. I don't think they're in the Coppa. I don't think they made the latter stages of the Coppa Italia, so they probably wouldn't
I think
have.
I think they lost to Inter.
Or did they? Interesting, but oh yeah, no, they've been good, and they're also very lucky that their exit in the Europa League was a couple days before I made the live stream. So technically, they've been unbeaten this entire time as well. In terms of like their most impressive win, it came against Inter away. So yeah, no, that's fair. I'd probably give them. I'm stuck between a B or an A.
I'll give them an A. Like if this is a real tier, so like whole season, hell no, they'd be like C, D. But just off of form, nah, this is an A.
Because I'm just looking at, Chris. Here's what you have to know. I'm a strength of schedule merchant, bro. Okay, tell you what. This is what I'm gonna do, Chris. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make a deal with you because they got some hard games. Damn, they got some hard games. They got to play Fiorentina, Atalanta, and Milan in the next 3. But Milan sucks, so I really care about these 2. Chris, if they get minimum 4 points from these 2 matches, I'll put them A. Is that fair?
Nah, fair enough.
Okay, so to the -5 Roma fans that somehow found the stream, tell your club to reach another level, bro. So I'll put them B for now. If like I said, I will give them credit. If they do that, then fair enough. They're getting A. Sevilla, I'm not gonna lie. I don't have much to say on Sevilla. I know they've been trash like this entire season. And I think they're below Valencia, which says a lot because Valencia have been trash this entire season too.
Yeah, I've got nothing to say about Sevilla. They probably
it's you. Actually, no, they might be F. Actually, look at this.
Yeah, F. We're in the need to see who they got.
Tomato. Have you seen that TikTok? Tomato. Trash. That's garbage, bro. That's
next season also an F. I don't care what they're doing in Europe, but they're an F.
I mean, you can't say that when we just gave United that same respect.
No, you can because of who they're playing, bro. Like who's Spurs playing, bro? Off the top of your head, who do they play? What's the name of the team?
Respect Bodo Glimt, bro. Respect Bodo Glimt, bro. Bro, listen. Bodo Glimt didn't they put 6 past Roma with Mourinho like a couple years ago?
Yeah, I know they cooked Mourinho, but Mourinho's cooked.
Yeah, but they're like less cooked than. Wait, hold on, Chris. Sorry. Apologize about that, Chris. I'm just going to hurry it up, bro. You know it is living with the fam, bro.
So,
All right, so I probably won't like harp on it as much. Okay, what have Tottenham done? They obviously we know their exploits in the Europa League. Never mind. Yeah, I can't defend you niggas, bro. Fucking shit.
F. This is F, bro.
Yo. Okay, wait. Who did they beat? They beat Frankfurt in the Europa League?
I don't. If they did, that was like a while ago. No, Hoffenheim. Or was that in the group?
No, it was Frankfurt. No, it was like it was 2 weeks ago.
No, bro, I'm not following that. Not following that content.
Bro, they beat them twice, bro. You can't do this. They beat them twice.
4 points, bro. That's an FD.
Yeah, that is really bad. That is really bad. Oh wow, that's horrible. Yeah,
Like, I'm sorry, beating Frankfurt isn't enough, man. That's an F, bro.
Yo, that's diabolical. Yeah, no, that I can't defend that, bro. That's an F, bro. Fuck Tottenham, bro. Like that's trash. Valencia. I think Valencia have actually been good as of late because that's how they stopped themselves from getting relegated. Where are they on here? They are 4th, actually. Chris?
4th, but
And they beat Real Madrid away. And they beat Real Madrid away too.
True. But if you took that form into Serie A, they'd be like 6th, 7th, in and around there, I think. So fair enough.
We giving them a C? A B?
C.
I'm curious. Let me just see what have they been doing? Who else have they played? But like, so they beat Sevilla, but like, does that mean anything? Okay, so Real Madrid has really been the only good team they've beaten, but like,
they haven't lost.
I'm pleasantly surprised though. They haven't lost, and 4th is really high. So yeah, see, it's fine. I'm fine with that. Arsenal.
Yeah, it's a bit tricky with them. The Madrid one, like there's value in the Madrid game, but they've been terrible.
There's the high of Madrid. Even in the last 8, they've only gotten 14 points, which isn't particularly good. And they've had some easy games that they just haven't won because I guess they just gave up on the league or whatever their problem has been. And then they beat Madrid twice, and then they lost to PSG as well. So it's like, but I feel like beating Madrid twice is still obviously like a net positive from losing to PSG once. Yeah. Obviously, we'll see what goes on in the second leg later. However, I think that's been their only loss of this time span.
Yeah, I think they just had a lot of growth.
And they beat Chelsea, they beat Madrid twice. Okay, I'd probably put them B. I feel like B is fair.
Yeah, I think I'm okay with that.
Now we have my fucking club. I'm not gonna lie. I would have not guessed they have 17 from their last 8. I'm not gonna hold you.
Yeah, I was shocked. Like when I first saw this Premier League form table, I was shocked. Chelsea has 17. Would have thought they were United.
Relax. Yo, relax. All right, calm down. Calm yourself. So, you know what's funny is that over this time span that we're looking at, Chelsea have 2 losses, right? And one of them came to Arsenal, right? Right.
Hmm.
You know who the second loss is to?
To some Conference League team, right?
Yeah. Oh Lord, bro, to Legia Warsaw.
Oh, you lost to that Polish team. Useless guy. At home. Look.
Oh wow, that's So fucking stupid. I mean, granted, I don't really think they started a full squad, but that's not a good enough excuse. So
You're at home. It's not like you're at their stadium. You're at home.
okay, if we were to add this up, right? So Chelsea have 2 losses, 2 draws, and 5 wins. So 5, 2, and 2. Since
But also contextualize, there's a lot of conference league footy there.
true, but they also beat Fulham, who beat you guys. And then you know what? Yeah, and they beat Tottenham, but like, ugh.
I would say C.
Yeah, probably C because the record's fine, but like, inflation is real. So, yeah. All right, next we got the Liverpool. We've only lost. Wow, you guys have gone 7-1. Damn, y'all wanted this league title. Shit.
Yeah, I think the only thing is also that Newcastle game in the cup final.
Oh yeah, true. But I'm not sure if that was before or after. Hold on. Oh, okay, it was after. So that's actually only. So okay, so y'all have lost twice. Y'all lost
One.
twice. You've beaten Everton, and then y'all have won 4 and lost 2. 5 win against Tottenham's a good result. But like we don't really respect Tottenham. So honestly, like I'd probably put you guys like A
B, C.
or B.
Hey,
Because like
I'd probably B.
well, because like the record is good, but like y'all just haven't really played anyone like in this specific period that we're looking at. And then you lost a final, and then there's obviously then the Fulham game. So if I were to be extremely harsh, I'd probably have to go B. But like y'all obviously won the championship, so it's like. So I probably put A because of the fact that y'all won the Prem in this time span, but like based purely off the results and the teams you've played, probably have to go B though. Is that fair?
Yeah, B.
Also, you fair with B then?
Yeah, B. Because if we put it's something no one else can use, but I'll use it. I'll attach it to this. If we do put stock in the fact that we did win the league in this period, I would then say, okay, but Napoli, what they're doing, it's helping them to win the league. Because like you'd say strength of schedule, but like every game is tough that they've played in like the last 8. So
True. So okay, this is our final table because we don't care about the other teams, with all due respect, but probably not. So this is what we're looking at right now and then it's funny. So if we were to compare this with the last time we did this, and to be fair, I also probably should have just had more categories. It would have been better. So what are we looking at? So keep in mind, this was last time 6 weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
And then this is today. And then this is today.
But to be fair, I think when we did it, form was a little bit included, but it was also the level that we thought that they were at the moment, I think.
No, that was the first time. Because the last one, so I've done, this is the third one I've done.
Okay.
Because the second one was, you weren't in the stream for that one. So, and actually, if you want, so this was, hold on, let's see if I can find the first tier list, because it'll be interesting to kind of see, how things have evolved, since then. Did I post the first tier list? I feel like I did not post the first tier list. Was I on crack?
Isn't it
Huh, why would I not post the first one? That's so weird. Anyway, whatever. But yeah, so what do you think generally of how things have evolved? Well, what surprised you in terms of teams that have moved the most versus the least? And which one, like, did you see any of these coming in terms of like where we have them now?
Based off of where we have them now,
Yeah,
the
like so basically, like,
Atletico.
did you see like Atletico falling off the way they did? Did you see Barca or PSG sustaining where they were at? Did you see City kind of gaining a run of actual good form, or Arsenal kind of stumbling or staying mid a little bit, or even with you guys or whatever?
Yeah, I definitely didn't think Inter and Atletico would like slump to the level that they have. I did think that City would have some level of decent form, at least to close the season. I didn't think they'd be as good as they are right now, but I
Mhm.
thought, okay, they would start winning again, which I'm glad they have. PSG and Barca, not surprised at that, actually. But outside of that, nah, nothing has shocked me like that.
All right, that is fair. That's the stream for today. So I want to thank you for coming on again. Um, luckily, I just finished with my semester, which is why like I basically took a 3 week sabbatical because shit was getting hectic, if you will. So like, I was like, bro, like I don't have enough time right now to post some streams, but hopefully I can be more consistent with that for at least the immediate future. So hopefully I'll see you on again. If you have any ideas of streams you want me to do, you should like let me know as well. We can do something as well. So,
We'll let you know.
but do you have any final thoughts in terms of what you want to say in terms of where we're at with this, or just football in general?
Nah, nothing crazy. Excited to see Chelsea give Liverpool another God of Honor, and Chelsea, like, yo, we can have a gentleman's agreement.
Listen, I was about to
This,
bring it up. Listen. This is my deal to you. Okay, this is my deal to you. I'm not gonna lie. We need to win. So like that's like if you let us win 4-3, right? Salah can get his 3 assists, so he can break Thierry's record. Right, you get your God of Honor, and whoever you feel needs to score for your agenda, you figure that out. I don't care.
yeah, no,
This is
deal accepted. Deal accepted.
Okay, I feel like I feel like that's fair. Thank you. So you need to figure out who you want to score, and then yeah, have fun with that because
Not
bloody
easy.
hell.
Like
Huh?
2 Chobosly goals and like 1 Gakpo goal.
I'm fine with that. I fuck with Gakpo. SpongeBob, that's just your problem to deal with. But all right, bro. I'm gonna catch you later. Again, thanks for joining the stream, and have a good day. Actually, I don't even know what time it is in South Africa, but rest of your day.
Yeah,
Okay?
it's like,
I know.
anyways, peace.
Peace.